Today we are going to discuss an analytic technique called a cause and effect diagram. This methodology is a means of discovering contributing factors to an outcome of concern. First, we will look at a set of scenarios where cause and effect diagrams are most applicable. Next, we will examine benefits and potential drawbacks of using this technique. Then, we will walk step by step through the method itself. Finally, we will provide a brief example and walk through it before wrapping up the tutorial. Because cause and effect diagrams are more about discovering the causes than the effects, they should be used primarily in scenarios where we are trying to discover contributing factors to a specific outcome of concern. The analysis can be completed in anticipation of a possible event, or after an event has occurred. In the latter case, we are examining the causes of a past event to avoid the same contributing factors in the future. Cause and effect diagrams are quick and easy to assemble, and easily understood. The visual output is such that factors are grouped with a common area, so analysts may identify general characteristics and outcomes or break them down into more specific contributing factors. While this technique is a quick and easy way of identifying contributing factors to a given outcome, using cause and effect diagrams by no means guarantees that all possible contributing factors are listed. The method is somewhat limited by the analyst or analysts performing the assessment. If they are ill-informed or lack key information, not all possibilities will be accounted for and the diagram will be incomplete. Before we examine each step individually, take a moment to jot down the overall steps for creating cause and effect diagrams. First, we need to identify the scope of the project. The system being examined, as well as any key people or objects associated with the system, need to be identified. Next, we clearly define the outcome of concern. This is the outcome that we want to avoid, and the cornerstone for the brainstorming that takes place in the next step. Draw an arrow from left to right, pointing at the box with the outcome of concern. Next, brainstorm categories of potential causes for that outcome. Popular categories include management, manpower, machines, and materials, also known as the 4 M's. Place each category in its own box along this line, and draw an arrow to the larger arrow you just drew. Next, review the categories to ensure that there is minimal overlap and that nothing has been left out. Here, we need to refer to the previous step and brainstorm factors that could cause the outcome of concern within each category. These can be factors that cause the outcome individually, or a set of factors that collectively lead to the outcome of concern. From here, break down those factors into sub-factors that could cause our outcome of concern. Continue breaking down potential causes until they cannot feasibly be broken down any further. Finally, review the set of factors to ensure that there is minimal overlap and that nothing has been left out. Review the entire cause and effect diagram to ensure that it is accurate and make any necessary adjustments to ensure its completeness and accuracy. Now, we will walk step by step through the method one more time using the example of patient mortality in a pre-hospital environment. For this example, we will examine the emergency medical system, or EMS, in the United States. Specifically, we will examine the network of emergency medical technicians, or EMT, and paramedics who respond to medical emergencies, their standard equipment, and their vehicles. We will consider only Type 3 ambulances and EMT basic personnel. The outcome of concern is patient death. The most common groupings for this exercise are the 4 M's: management, manpower, machinery, and materials. Therefore, we are going to start with those 4 categories as they conveniently fit this situation. However, we are going to add time as well, as time is a major factor in EMS situations. After reviewing the categories, we have determined that these will be sufficient to start the process. The following is a list of factors brainstormed by our hypothetical group for each category in Step 2. If you feel the need to do so, take a moment and jot them down. After review of the previous list, it was determined that AED availability was redundant with properly stocked vehicles, so they were combined with a note to investigate AED availability as a sub-factor during the next step. The next step is to determine the sub-factors, or whether there are any contributing factors to the ones we already identified. In identifying sub-factors, we identified that funding can cause maintenance issues, as well as lead to improperly stocked vehicles. Therefore, we added that sub-factor to those categories. Finally, a review was completed and we determined that no more subcategories can be added or combined. The group then reviewed the diagram as a whole and decided that, within the scope of the exercise, the diagram is complete. The group made sure to record the diagram and send it to all the participants for their final review later. Cause and effect diagrams are a simple and fast way of determining possible contributing factors to an outcome of concern. However, they are limited by the analyst or group of analysts using the methodology. Thank you for watching, and we hope that this tutorial will aid you in your future analysis.